Let me give you some assorted advice on typography. Thing number one, choosing a typeface. Now, in case you are still wondering what typeface is the best one, it's in your style guide. Choosing a typeface is not a job of a typographer. Typically, the typeface is chosen by somebody else. So go ahead and check your style guide. If you don't have a style guide, you need to create one. These are, I don't know if you can see this, but these are 4 different typefaces. I know they look the same, maybe even 5, but this is a no-go. So this is strictly prohibited. Verboten, I will be Swiss German for this part of the video. We need to watch out for that. I see this all the time in the same document. You have Arial, Verdana, Tahoma, and things like that. We should replace all those fonts with what our font is. Thing number 2, color of the main body text. Now, this is what the main body text is, what's in black. The main body text is what you have apart from headers, subheaders, and footnotes. Most of the text you have on a page is your main body text. Now, your main body text should be black. It shouldn't be blue, it shouldn't be red, it shouldn't be on red. This, however, works, right? Because it's just a header, just a few words, and it's set in a big bold type, and there's no problem with readability. And with the main body text, there's always a problem with readability. So maximum contrast, black on white, maybe dark gray on white. You can use color to highlight a few words on a page, but use it sparingly. Do not highlight like everything. Your main body text should absolutely be black. Now, this is a very typical mistake that I see, frankly, all the time. We have a header in green, then we have bold black subheaders, and then we have bold green main body text. And well, this is a problem of many sort of narrow specialists who think that details are the most, juicy, most important things that they have. And of course, for their audience, it's, well, they should reverse the pyramid. The most important thing is the header, then the subheader, and then the main body text, which shouldn't be green. It should be just black or maybe gray. This, I believe, is a much better design. It clearly communicates what is important on a page and what's not important. If you want something to be noticed, make it a header or a subheader. Maybe you can make 2 or 3 words boldface, but no more than that. All capitals. I don't know if you need to hear that, but I still see people in 2017 doing this thing. Please do not set everything you have on a page in all capitals. It's very hard to read, mostly because we're not accustomed to everything set in all capitals. If you have a slogan, if you have just a couple of words, if you want to shout at people, which I perfectly understand, yeah, of course, what's on top works better than the lower version. Yeah, sometimes, but not the whole slide. This is permissible. If you want to use all capitals, expand them slightly, 5 to 10%, maybe 4% is okay. The topmost version is way too condensed. The bottom is way too expanded. Bold and italics. Now, your regular text should stay regular. It shouldn't be bold, it shouldn't be italic, and it shouldn't be bold, italic, and underlined. And I still see people doing this thing. I mean, this was normal 10 years ago. Right now, it's rather an exception, but still, I don't know. So this is strictly verboten. Your regular text should stay regular. If you want to highlight things, use bold. Bold does this bit. The type literally jumps off the page. Italics do the reverse. You don't have to scan the page to see bold. It's visible. And you do need to scan to see italics. There are 3 words set in italics on this page. Try and find them. It's later Roman and Gothic, in case you are still searching. So, Regular typeface is your baseline, bold is more important, and italics is slightly less important. So we use italics for footnotes. Thing number 5, underlining. Now, on a typewriter, there was almost no other way to emphasize anything. On a computer, we do not underline anything unless it's a link. You never see underlining in any professionally typeset materials. Please do not use underlining ever. And my experience shows that this does not improve understanding in any way, so do not use many ways to add emphasis on the same page. Settle for bold. I think bold kind of works. Strictly forbidden. Thing number 6, bullet points. Now, we've talked about this already. They should be big and bright, and you can color them in all the colors that you have, unless they're colors from your style guide. Please do not overcomplicate things, however. Not unless you have to follow a certain style, which sometimes you do. But most of the time, those complex bullets just, add complexity. They do not provide any aesthetic benefits. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is verboten. Checkboxes and check marks, I don't know, they mean something. They're not just, dots and squares. This is a character. This is, I don't know, they mean done. So if you mean done, well, all right, okay. But most of the time people use those checkboxes just, as bullets, and they do not work as bullets. For one thing, they mean something, but secondly, they're not as big and bright, so they don't catch the eye, which they need to. Thing number 7, alignment. Please do not justify your text in PowerPoint or Keynote. This is not a problem in your text editor in Pages or PowerPoint, where you have very long lines and very small font. But in PowerPoint, this is always the problem. Justifying creates those huge spaces between letters, which makes the text very hard to read. So either flush left or centering. Centering, of course, doesn't work for the main body text. If you have a lot of text on the page, which you can, please do not center it. It does work for a slogan, it does work for a few words, but if you have a lot of text, which is like more than 20 or 30 words, then the top left corner of the page is the most important thing that you have, and everything should align to left. Thing number 8, please watch out for something typographers called orphaned words. Now, what an orphaned word is, it's the last word on the line, the lonely word on the line. Please do not leave those words because they feel alone. Now, what you should do instead, you should press Shift-Enter and create another line without creating another paragraph, that is. Now, unfortunately, in this example, you cannot do this either, because the convention is that you do not end the line with those little 2 or 3 character words. So instead, what you should be doing is something like this. So watch out for that. Or just make the font size a little bit smaller and it will fit. And finally, a very small thing, but a very indicative, I think. Please do not confuse a hyphen and dash and minus sign. I know on a typewriter it was just 1 character because of physical limitations, but on a computer these are 3, sometimes even 4 separate characters. And I think you should be using hyphens when you should be using hyphens, and dashes when you should be using dashes. On a Mac we have specialized shortcuts which we can remember and use. On a PC this is slightly different because shortcuts involve numeric keyboard, which nobody has anymore on their laptops, so sometimes the easiest way to ensure the long M dash is to go insert symbol and then find the M dash and then just copy and paste it. Let me do a quick recap. The best typeface is in your style guide. Your main body text should be black. Please use colored text to highlight, well, maybe a couple of words, and do it sparingly. The exact same rule applies to all capitals. Use bold and italics sparingly. Bold means forward, italics means backward. Please do not underline anything unless it's a link. Bullet points should be big and bright. Please align left by default. You can use centering if you have just a few words on a page. Please watch out for those orphaned words, and please do not confuse hyphens and em dashes.